Today we're diving into one of the planet's most mysterious and intriguing places, North Korea. North Korea, officially the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, is like no other country in the world. Imagine a place where time runs differently, where hairstyles are government approved, and where the internet is something most people have never even heard of. Sounds wild, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're uncovering 10 weird and fascinating things that only exist in North Korea. But before we jump in, I want to hear from you. What's the craziest fact you've ever heard about North Korea? Drop it in the comments below. And don't forget to smash that like button if you love exploring the world's most unique places. All right, let's get started with number 1. 1. Kim Il-sung's eternal presidency. Kim Il-sung, the founding leader of North Korea, ruled the country from its establishment in 1948 until he died in 1994. However, his influence and leadership did not end with his passing. In a unique and extraordinary move, Kim Il-sung was declared the eternal president of North Korea. This unprecedented decision means that no one else will ever hold the title of president in North Korea, and his legacy is enshrined in the country's constitution. Kim Il-sung led North Korea through significant historical events, including the Korean War, and established the country's socialist system. His leadership was marked by the development of a personality cult, where he was revered almost as a deity. This deep-rooted veneration set the stage for his posthumous elevation to eternal leadership. In 1998, 4 years after his death, North Korea amended its constitution to officially declare Kim Il-sung the eternal president. This constitutional change solidified his perpetual role in North Korean politics and ideology. The amendment was part of a broader effort to ensure the continuity of his vision and policies, and to reinforce the legitimacy of his successors, particularly his son Kim Jong-il and later his grandson Kim Jong-un. Kim Il-sung's presence is omnipresent in North Korea. His portraits are displayed prominently in homes, public buildings, and offices. Statues of him are found throughout the country, often in grand, elaborate settings. Every citizen is required to wear a lapel pin with his image, and his works are studied and quoted extensively in schools, workplaces, and political meetings. National ceremonies and political events frequently reference Kim Il-sung as the eternal president, reinforcing his perpetual influence. For example, during the annual Day of the Sun celebration, which marks Kim Il-sung's birthday on April 15th, massive parades, performances, and other events are held in his honor. This day is the most significant holiday in North Korea, highlighting his everlasting impact. In daily life, the ideology of Juche, which Kim Il-sung developed, remains a guiding principle. Juche, often translated as self-reliance, emphasizes national independence and the ability to solve problems without external assistance. This philosophy is taught from a young age and permeates all aspects of North Korean society, from education to economic policies. The eternal presidency of Kim Il-sung serves several political purposes. It provides a stable ideological foundation for the administration, ensuring that any leadership changes do not disrupt the continuity of governance. By maintaining Kim Il-sung's presence as a central figure, the administration can uphold its legitimacy and strengthen the personality cult around his successors. This continuity is crucial for maintaining control and stability in a country where political dissent is not tolerated. Internationally, the concept of an eternal president is viewed as an extreme manifestation of authoritarianism and a personality cult. It underscores the differences between North Korea and other nations, contributing to its image as an isolated and enigmatic state. This unique political structure often complicates diplomatic relations, as foreign governments must navigate the complexities of a system where a deceased leader is still revered as the ultimate authority. Kim Il-sung's eternal presidency is a unique and profound aspect of North Korean politics and society. It ensures his enduring influence over the country, shaping its policies, governance, and cultural identity long after his death. This phenomenon highlights the deep-seated reverence for Kim Il-sung within North Korea and serves as a cornerstone for the administration's stability and continuity. Understanding this concept is key to comprehending the broader dynamics of North Korean society and its leadership. 2. 3-generation punishment rule. One of the most draconian policies in North Korea is the 3-generation punishment rule, a form of collective punishment where not only the person found guilty of a crime but also their entire family, up to 3 generations, can be punished. This rule is designed to enforce loyalty to the administration and prevent dissent by instilling fear in the population. The origins of the 3-generation punishment rule trace back to the early years of North Korean governance under Kim Il-sung. The policy is rooted in the administration's desire to eliminate any potential threats to its authority by ensuring that dissent is not only punished but completely eradicated. By holding entire families accountable for the actions of one member, the administration creates a powerful deterrent against any form of opposition. When an individual is accused of a political crime, such as expressing anti-government sentiments, attempting to defect, or being suspected of espionage, the punishment extends to their parents, children, and sometimes even grandchildren. These family members can be subjected to imprisonment, forced labor, and various forms of persecution, regardless of their knowledge or involvement in the alleged crime. One of the most well-known examples of the three-generation punishment rule is the case of Shin Dong-hyuk, a North Korean defector who was born in a political prison camp. Shin's family was imprisoned due to his uncle's defection to South Korea. Born in Camp 14, a notorious political prison, Shin spent his entire childhood and early adulthood in the camp, subjected to extreme brutality and forced labor. Shin's parents were prisoners who were allowed to marry as a reward for good behavior, but their marriage was essentially arranged by the camp authorities. Shin witnessed and experienced severe punishment for minor infractions, illustrating the harsh realities of life under the three-generation punishment rule. Eventually, Shin managed to escape the camp in 2005 and defect to South Korea, where he has since become an outspoken critic of the North Korean administration and its human rights abuses. The three-generation punishment rule has profound implications for North Korean society. It creates an environment of pervasive fear, where individuals are constantly aware that their actions can have severe repercussions for their entire family. This fear effectively suppresses dissent and ensures that citizens remain compliant with the administration's demands. The policy also serves as a tool for social control, as it prevents the formation of organized opposition. Potential dissidents are deterred by the knowledge that their actions could lead to the suffering of their loved ones. This collective punishment strategy reinforces the administration's power and maintains its grip on the population. The three-generation punishment rule has been widely condemned by human rights organizations and international bodies. It is seen as a blatant violation of fundamental human rights, including the right to a fair trial, freedom from torture, and the protection of family life. The United Nations has documented numerous instances of collective punishment in North Korea and has called for an end to such practices. In 2014, the United Nations Commission of Inquiry on Human Rights in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea published a report detailing widespread and systematic human rights violations in the country, including the use of the three-generation punishment rule. The report highlighted the severe conditions in political prison camps and called for accountability for those responsible for these abuses. 3. Promptness in front of the leader. In North Korea, being prompt in the presence of the leader isn't just a matter of courtesy, it can be a matter of life and death. The administration's obsession with obedience and reverence towards its leaders extends to the smallest details of behavior, including punctuality. In a society where dissent is not tolerated and loyalty to the leadership is paramount, failing to demonstrate proper respect and deference towards the leader can have severe consequences. Any perceived disrespect or disobedience, no matter how minor, can result in harsh punishment, including imprisonment, torture, or even execution. One chilling example is the case of Kim Cole, a high-ranking military officer who was reportedly executed by firing squad for falling asleep during a military event attended by Kim Jong-un. Similarly, Ri Yong-jin, a senior education ministry official, was executed for showing a bad attitude during a meeting attended by Kim Jong-un. The administration uses fear and intimidation to maintain control over the population, and punctuality serves as a visible symbol of obedience and submission. By enforcing strict rules regarding behavior in the presence of the leader, the administration reinforces its authority and instills a culture of fear among its citizens. While the administration presents an image of adoration and reverence towards the leader in public displays and propaganda, the reality is often far more sinister. Behind the facade of loyalty lies a society plagued by fear, where individuals must constantly watch their words and actions to avoid attracting suspicion or retribution. The expectation of promptness and deference in the presence of the leader reflects the extreme measures taken by the North Korean administration to maintain control and suppress dissent. In a society where loyalty to the leadership is enforced through fear and intimidation, failure to adhere to strict behavioral norms can have dire consequences. This culture of fear serves as a stark reminder of the oppressive nature of the administration and the lengths it will go to maintain power. 4. Mandatory military service in North Korea, a national obligation. In North Korea, military service isn't just a choice, it's a mandatory duty for both men and women. Enshrined in the country's constitution, mandatory military service is a fundamental aspect of North Korean society and plays a crucial role in maintaining the administration's grip on power. According to North Korean law, all able-bodied citizens are required to serve in the military. Men typically serve for about 10 years, while women serve for about 7 years. This requirement applies to all citizens, regardless of social status or background, and exceptions are rare. Mandatory military service serves several purposes for the North Korean administration. Firstly, it provides a ready supply of manpower to maintain the country's large military, which is one of the largest in the world per capita. Secondly, it instills a sense of discipline, loyalty, and obedience to the administration among the population from a young age. Military service in North Korea is not just about learning combat skills, it's also a form of ideological indoctrination. Recruits undergo intensive political education, where they are taught the principles of the Juche ideology and the cult of personality surrounding the ruling Kim dynasty. This indoctrination is designed to ensure unwavering loyalty to the administration among the military ranks. Life in the North Korean military is notoriously harsh and administrationed. Recruits are subjected to grueling training administrations, often with little regard for their health or well-being. Discipline is enforced through strict punishments, including physical abuse and forced labor, and defectors and international organizations have documented widespread human rights abuses within the North Korean military, including torture, starvation, and execution. Mandatory military service has significant implications for North Korean society as a whole. It reinforces the administration's control over the population by subjecting citizens to years of indoctrination and obedience training. It also perpetuates a culture of militarism and aggression, with the military playing a central role in the country's identity and governance. Mandatory military service is a cornerstone of North Korean society, serving both practical and ideological purposes for the administration. While it provides the military with a steady stream of manpower and reinforces loyalty to the administration, it also subjects citizens to harsh conditions and extensive indoctrination. Understanding the role of mandatory military service is essential for comprehending the dynamics of power and control within North Korea. 5. Making international calls. A forbidden act in North Korea. In North Korea, the act of making international calls is not just discouraged, it's considered a serious crime against the state. The administration tightly controls communication with the outside world, viewing it as a potential threat to its authority and ideology. North Korea maintains strict control over all forms of communication, including telephone lines, internet access, and postal services. The administration operates a highly centralized telecommunications network that is closely monitored and censored by government authorities. International calls are strictly regulated, and citizens are forbidden from making direct calls to numbers outside the country. Making an unauthorized international call in North Korea is considered a grave offense against the state. Citizens caught attempting to make such calls face severe punishment, including imprisonment, forced labor, and even execution. The administration views communication with the outside world as a potential source of subversion and dissent, and it takes harsh measures to prevent it. While specific examples of individuals being punished for making international calls may be difficult to verify due to the secretive nature of the administration, there have been reports of North Koreans facing severe consequences for attempting to communicate with the outside world. For instance, defectors and refugees have recounted stories of friends or family members disappearing or facing retribution from authorities after attempting to make international calls or send messages across the border. In 2007, it was reported that a North Korean man was executed by firing squad for making several unauthorized international calls. The man, whose name remains unknown, was accused of communicating with individuals outside the country without permission from the authorities. According to reports, the man had made multiple international calls to contacts outside North Korea, potentially seeking information or assistance. However, these calls were detected by the administration's surveillance apparatus, and the man was swiftly apprehended. Upon his arrest, the man was subjected to a brief trial, where he was found guilty of violating North Korea's strict telecommunications regulations. Without further ado, he was summarily executed by firing squad as a deterrent to others who might consider similar actions. The case of the unnamed man highlights the extreme measures taken by the North Korean administration to enforce its control over communication with the outside world. The swift and brutal punishment meted out to him serves as a chilling warning to other citizens about the consequences of disobeying the administration's directives. The prohibition on international calls has a chilling effect on North Korean society, fostering an atmosphere of fear and paranoia. Citizens are acutely aware of the consequences of communicating with the outside world and are deterred from seeking information or contact beyond the administration's control. This isolation serves to reinforce the administration's propaganda and maintain its grip on power. In North Korea, making international calls is not just a violation of telecommunications regulations, it's a direct challenge to the authority and control of the administration. The strict prohibition on communication with the outside world underscores the administration's determination to maintain its isolation and suppress dissent. While specific examples of punishment may be difficult to confirm, the overarching message is clear in North Korea. The price of reaching out to the outside world can be extremely high. 6. Blasphemy against Kim's family. A mother's tragic choice. In North Korea, showing disrespect towards the ruling Kim dynasty is not just discouraged, it's considered blasphemy against the state. The administration's cult of personality surrounding the Kim family extends to every aspect of daily life, with citizens expected to demonstrate unwavering reverence and loyalty at all times. The legal framework in North Korea revolves around the cult of personality surrounding the ruling Kim family. Laws are crafted to glorify the Kim dynasty and reinforce its absolute authority over the state and its citizens. Any act perceived as disrespectful or subversive towards the Kim family is met with swift and severe punishment. Blasphemy against the Kim family is considered one of the most serious offenses in North Korea. Laws prohibit any form of criticism, mockery, or disrespect towards the ruling dynasty, with harsh penalties for those found guilty of such acts. Even the slightest deviation from the prescribed reverence towards the Kims can result in imprisonment, forced labor, or execution. The administration's control over the population extends beyond physical actions to include thoughts and beliefs. Laws criminalize dissenting opinions and expressions of dissatisfaction with the administration, labeling them as anti-state activities. Citizens are closely monitored for any signs of disloyalty, and those suspected of harboring dissenting views are swiftly dealt with by the state security apparatus. The administration tightly controls access to information, both from within the country and from the outside world. Laws restrict access to foreign media, the internet, and other sources of information deemed subversive to the administration's ideology. Possession or distribution of unauthorized information can lead to severe punishment, as the administration seeks to maintain its monopoly over the narrative presented to the population. In North Korea, the legal system operates with little regard for due process or human rights. Trials are often conducted in secret, with defendants denied legal representation and subjected to coercion and torture to extract confessions. Verdicts are predetermined by the administration, and the judiciary serves as a tool for enforcing political control rather than dispensing impartial justice. In January of an unspecified year, a tragic incident unfolded in North Korea that underscored the extreme consequences of failing to show proper deference to the Kim family. In a devastating inferno that engulfed her home, a mother faced an impossible choice: save her children or protect a portrait of former President Kim Il-sung, the revered founder of North Korea. Faced with the agonizing decision, the mother prioritized the safety of her children over the preservation of the portrait. In a desperate bid to rescue her loved ones from the flames, she ignored the portrait of Kim Il-sung, which held profound symbolic significance in North Korean society. Despite her heroic efforts to save her children, the mother's actions were deemed a grave act of disrespect towards the Kim family. In North Korea, any perceived insult or disobedience towards the ruling dynasty is met with swift and severe punishment. Following the tragic incident, the mother was arrested and sentenced to a jail term for her failure to prioritize the safety of the portrait over the lives of her children. Her imprisonment served as a stark reminder to other citizens of the consequences of defying the administration's dictates, even in the most dire circumstances. The case of the mother facing imprisonment for prioritizing her children's lives over a portrait highlights the administration's control over every aspect of North Korean society. The incident serves as a potent symbol of the extreme measures taken to enforce reverence toward the Kim family and maintain the administration's grip on power. In North Korea, disrespecting the Kim family is not just a matter of social taboo, it's considered blasphemy against the state. The tragic case of the mother facing imprisonment for prioritizing her children's safety over a portrait of Kim Il-sung illustrates the administration's draconian enforcement of loyalty and obedience. It serves as a sobering reminder of the oppressive nature of the administration and the lengths it will go to maintain its control over the hearts and minds of its citizens. 7. Fashion dictates dress code in North Korea. In North Korea, clothing isn't just a matter of personal expression, it's heavily regulated to conform to the state's ideology and principles. From jeans to bikinis, what people wear is scrutinized to ensure it aligns with the administration's vision of socialist purity. Jeans, once a symbol of Western freedom and capitalism, are strictly prohibited in North Korea. The administration views denim as a symbol of capitalist decadence, incompatible with the principles of socialism. Citizens caught wearing jeans risk punishment, as the administration seeks to maintain ideological purity and resist foreign influence. For women in North Korea, modesty is mandated by law. Skirts must cover the knees, with any deviation from this standard considered indecent and punishable. The administration imposes strict dress codes to uphold traditional values and prevent the perceived moral degradation associated with Western fashion trends. In a country where public displays of skin are taboo, wearing bikinis is strictly forbidden. The administration views such attire as decadent and immoral, incompatible with the modesty expected of citizens. Beachwear is seen as a symbol of Western hedonism, antithetical to the administration's socialist principles. Instead of Western trends, North Korea promotes its own brand of socialist fashion. Traditional Korean attire, such as the hanbok, is encouraged, reflecting the administration's emphasis on national identity and cultural pride. Citizens are expected to adhere to state-approved styles that reflect socialist values and promote conformity. Those who dare to defy the administration's dress codes face consequences ranging from public shaming to imprisonment. Citizens are constantly surveilled by state authorities, ensuring compliance with dress regulations. Any deviation from the mandated attire is swiftly dealt with, as the administration seeks to maintain control over every aspect of public life. In North Korea, fashion isn't just about personal style, it's a reflection of the administration's ideology and control. From the ban on jeans to the strict regulations on skirt length and beachwear, clothing choices are heavily scrutinized to ensure they align with the state's socialist principles. In a society where conformity is prized above all else, deviating from the prescribed dress code is not just a fashion faux pas, it's a dangerous act of defiance against the administration. 8. Restricted freedom travel restrictions and the fate of defectors in North Korea. In the isolated nation of North Korea, the freedom to travel abroad is a luxury reserved for the elite and loyal supporters of the administration. For the vast majority of citizens, leaving the country without permission is not only forbidden but also carries severe consequences, ranging from imprisonment to execution. This draconian control over movement reflects the administration's determination to maintain its grip on power and prevent dissent. North Korea tightly controls its borders, limiting the movement of its citizens both within the country and abroad. Any North Korean seeking to travel outside the country must obtain official permission from the authorities, a process that is highly selective and tightly regulated. Those granted permission are typically government officials, diplomats, or individuals deemed loyal to the administration. Ordinary citizens are effectively trapped within the confines of the country, unable to leave without facing repercussions. Despite the risks involved, some North Koreans attempt to flee the country in search of freedom and a better life abroad. These individuals face immense challenges and dangers along their journey, including navigating treacherous terrain and avoiding detection by border guards. However, defection is considered a serious crime against the state, and those caught attempting to escape face severe consequences. Many defectors are intercepted by border guards and forcibly repatriated to North Korea, where they are subjected to interrogation, torture, and imprisonment. There have been numerous documented cases of North Koreans successfully defecting from the country and starting new lives abroad. One prominent example is that of Yeonmi Park, who fled North Korea with her family in 2007 and eventually settled in South Korea. Park's harrowing journey, which included crossing the Gobi Desert and being sold into human trafficking, shed light on the desperate measures taken by North Koreans to escape the oppressive administration. However, not all attempts to flee North Korea end in success. Many defectors are caught by border guards or intercepted by authorities in neighboring countries and forcibly returned to North Korea. Upon their return, these individuals face harsh punishment, including imprisonment, forced labor, and even execution. The fate of those who are repatriated serves as a grim warning to others who might consider defecting. The punishment for defection extends beyond the individual to their family members, who may also face repercussions for the actions of their relative. Family members of defectors may be subjected to harassment, discrimination, or even imprisonment as a form of collective punishment. This policy reinforces the administration's control over its citizens and discourages dissent or disobedience. The international community has condemned North Korea's human rights abuses, including its restrictions on freedom of movement and harsh treatment of defectors. Organizations such as the United Nations and human rights groups have called for greater protection for North Korean defectors and increased pressure on the administration to respect the rights of its citizens. However, diplomatic efforts to address human rights abuses in North Korea have been met with resistance from the administration, which views any external criticism as an attack on its sovereignty. In North Korea, the freedom to travel abroad is a distant dream for most citizens. overshadowed by the administration's tight control over movement and harsh punishment for defectors. While some manage to escape and start new lives abroad, many others are caught and subjected to unimaginable suffering upon their return. The plight of North Korean defectors serves as a powerful reminder of the oppressive nature of the administration and the lengths it will go to maintain its grip on power. 9. Commemorating Kim Il-sung Day of Solemnity and Strict Regulations. In North Korea, the passing of President Kim Il-sung on July 8, 1994, is a pivotal event etched into the collective memory of the nation. This significant date is marked by a series of strict rules and solemn rituals that reflect the administration's unwavering reverence for its founding father and the enduring cult of personality surrounding him. From prohibitions on smiling to mandatory displays of respect at his preserved tomb, adherence to these regulations is enforced with unwavering vigilance, underlining the administration's absolute control over public expression and its intolerance of dissent. July 8th in North Korea is not a day of celebration but rather one of somber reflection and reverence. Citizens are prohibited from smiling, laughing, or engaging in any form of frivolity as the nation collectively mourns the passing of its revered leader. This enforced solemnity serves as a testament to the administration's commitment to preserving Kim Il-sung's legacy and reinforcing his divine-like status in the eyes of the populace. In addition to the ban on smiling, a range of other activities such as talking loudly, dancing, or consuming alcohol are also strictly curtailed on July 8th. These measures are intended to ensure that the day is observed with the utmost dignity and respect, with citizens expected to maintain a solemn demeanor as they pay homage to Kim Il-sung's memory. Any deviation from these rules is swiftly met with punishment, as the administration maintains a tight grip on public behavior and expression. The administration's enforcement of mourning regulations surrounding Kim Il-sung's death is characterized by its unyielding severity. Those found guilty of disrespecting the rules may face dire consequences, ranging from imprisonment in labor camps to execution. The administration views any infringement on the sanctity of Kim Il-sung's memory as a direct challenge to its authority and responds with ruthless efficiency to quash dissent and maintain control. As part of the commemoration of Kim Il-sung's death, tourists visiting North Korea are compelled to pay their respects at his preserved tomb, housed within the grandiose Kumsusan Palace of the Sun. Within the mausoleum, Kim Il-sung's body lies in state, preserved in a glass tomb that serves as a potent symbol of his enduring legacy. Tourists are expected to bow down at his feet, a gesture of deference and submission to the eternal leader that reinforces the administration's narrative of unwavering loyalty and obedience. In North Korea, the anniversary of Kim Il-sung's death stands as a stark reminder of the administration's absolute control over public expression and its relentless promotion of the cult of personality surrounding its founder. From the strict regulations governing behavior to the mandatory displays of reverence at his preserved tomb, every aspect of the day is meticulously orchestrated to reinforce the administration's narrative of adulation and submission. Deviation from these norms is met with swift and severe punishment, serving as a chilling reminder of the consequences of challenging the administration's authority. 10. Driving restrictions in North Korea. Gender bias and government control. In North Korea, the freedom to drive is a privilege reserved primarily for male government officials, reflecting both gender bias and the administration's tight control over transportation and mobility. From strict limitations on who can obtain a driver's license to government-imposed restrictions on car ownership, the driving landscape in North Korea is shaped by a complex interplay of political, social, and economic factors. In North Korea, driving is predominantly seen as a male domain, with only male government officials granted permission to operate vehicles. Women, regardless of their occupation or position, are systematically denied the right to drive, perpetuating gender inequality and reinforcing traditional gender roles within society. Even female traffic officers, tasked with regulating vehicular movement, are prohibited from driving themselves, underscoring the entrenched nature of this gender-based discrimination. Beyond gender biases, the North Korean government imposes stringent restrictions on car ownership, tightly controlling the number of vehicles allowed on the roads. Government regulations stipulate that only 1 in 100 people is permitted to own a car, a policy designed to limit private transportation and maintain state control over mobility. This scarcity of vehicles ensures that access to private transportation remains a privilege reserved for the elite few, further exacerbating socioeconomic disparities within North Korean society. In North Korea, owning a car is not merely a practical necessity but also a potent symbol of social status and political power. The ability to drive signifies affiliation with the ruling elite and grants access to privileges and opportunities unavailable to the majority of the population. As such, the government's strict control over vehicle ownership serves not only to regulate transportation but also to reinforce hierarchies of power and privilege within society. The unequal distribution of driving privileges in North Korea reflects broader patterns of social control and authoritarian governance. By restricting access to private transportation and confining driving privileges to a select few, the administration maintains a tight grip on mobility and reinforces its authority over the population. Moreover, the gender-based discrimination inherent in driving restrictions serves to perpetuate inequalities and limit opportunities for women within society. In North Korea, driving is not merely a means of transportation but a highly regulated privilege reserved primarily for male government officials. From gender biases that deny women the right to drive to government-imposed restrictions on car ownership, the driving landscape in North Korea is marked by a complex interplay of political, social, and economic factors. By tightly controlling access to private transportation, the administration reinforces hierarchies of power and privilege while perpetuating gender inequality within society. The peculiarities and idiosyncrasies of North Korea offer a fascinating glimpse into a world unlike any other. From the strict regulations surrounding haircuts and fashion choices to the enforced reverence for the ruling dynasty and the surreal sight of a ghost city designed to impress, North Korea's uniqueness is undeniable. The regime's control extends to every aspect of daily life, from the mundane to the extraordinary, shaping a society that is both enigmatic and deeply entrenched in its own ideology. As we've explored these 10 weird and extraordinary aspects of North Korean life, it's important to remember that behind the spectacle lies a complex reality. These peculiarities not only reflect the regime's authoritarian control but also the resilience and ingenuity of the North Korean people in navigating their challenging circumstances. As outsiders, we may find these practices strange or even absurd, but they serve as a reminder of the diversity and complexity of the human experience. So, as we conclude our journey through the quirks of North Korea, let's approach it with curiosity, empathy, and a recognition of the humanity that lies beneath the surface. While the country may remain shrouded in mystery and isolation, its stories and eccentricities continue to intrigue and captivate us, offering a window into a world that is as bewildering as it is compelling. Thank you for joining us on this exploration, and until next time, stay curious.